Hi, friends. I think it's about time for a little bookish update. This is going to include things that I've been reading lately, book hauls both from a couple of indie stores and the library, and then also kind of just overall how I think my reading month has kind of been going and where it will go. Starting off the month strong, I do this every single year, and I start with an N.K. Jemisin read, and I started with the 5th season finally, and this was everything anyone could ask for. This was a beautiful 5-star read to start the year. And since then, I've gotten into book 2, The Obelisk Gate. This was also a 5-star read for me, but I think I liked the first book a little bit better. That being said, what I really enjoyed about The Obelisk Gate that was a little bit different from the first book is we get Nassun's point of view. This is Essin's daughter, and she has a lot of her own stuff going on, her own trauma that she's dealing with that is separate from her mother. And actually her mother kind of ends up being the cause of some of it. And really, I appreciated the dive that we got into from that side of the journey that is totally missing from book 1. She's dealing with the generational trauma that her mom's accidentally given to her from her own experiences with the fulcrum. And she's also trying to navigate what it's like to be a kid in a world where her father doesn't really see her that way anymore. And she's only 10. But because she has this magic ability, she is, seen as less than human now. And she really has to figure out how to humanize herself in her father's eyes, which was a very interesting addition to the perspectives that we get from the first story. I also think book 2 does kind of a better job of explaining some of the open-ended questions that we had from book 1 with the world and magic and kind of some of the background lore of some of the people. I feel like the Stone Eaters got a little bit more background there, and kind of the overarching of why is the world this way, what made it this way, and what are the motivations of these different groups of people that has kind of led to current societal systems that are in place. I also read The Lies of the Ajunga recently, which is a short story, again, dealing with systems of oppression and how to overcome those. And I think plot-wise and world building and everything of this was absolutely fantastic. And I really liked the characters. And I think this could have been a 5-star read, but kind of felt more a 3.5 for me, and it was entirely because of the ending of the book. Now, for most of the story, our main character is, learning from others. Community is how he is surviving. Community is openly based in everything that's happening. And I felt kind of disappointed at the end of the book, where to finally overcome this oppression, he decides to undertake that by himself, and also doesn't take any action or make plans to help his fellow community that's gotten him this far in the story to help them overthrow their oppressor. And so I would have liked to see a little bit more of that theme of community maintained throughout the whole story. But it was absolutely super action-packed. I love the depth we were able to get in, even for a short story, because that can be kind of hard when you're limited on your page number and your word count. And I thought all of that was absolutely fantastic. The theme overall this month has been society's getting rid of oppression, because I also read The Maid and the Crocodile by Jordan Afueko, which is kind of like a retelling of Howl's in the Moving Castle, except if you wanted Howl to be a little less self-centered and a lot more caring about the overarching societal structures that are impacting everything else. I really loved our main character. She is a disabled maid from a lower working class that has really tried most of her life to just do her best to be accepted by the current society and prove that she's worthy. She's a hard worker. She's smart. She's capable. And part of the journey for her character arc is understanding that she's not what's wrong, and that she can't get out of the society what she wants and needs because that's what the society wants. And so part of that is learning that she can stand on her own and change things, and she'll have a lot more fulfillment and happiness by doing that. And so I really love how her internal monologue shifts through the story, coming to these kind of realizations and understanding her own power and her place in the world. This story is also really cute. We have like a little animal companion. He's a little lizard named Climber, and he can't speak much, but he is sort of like a messenger for the gods, which is really cute. This is a standalone, but there's some nice little Easter egg stuff from the Ray Bear duology, and some mentions of Terasai and the Ray Bears and such. Which is really fun. And one of our side characters is also was a Redemptor child who, because of what Terasai was able to accomplish, instead has a shot at owning and running a flower shop. So I really appreciated the throwbacks to the other series and being in this world again. I also read An Island Princess Starts a Scandal. This was on audio. I absolutely adored this. It was really nice to be back into this world as well. It's a 4-star read for me. This book, unlike the first one, is sapphic and features a loving lesbian relationship. I really love the dynamic between these two. I think it was really great to watch both of their personal growths the way it happened. And really what I love, if I'm going to read a historical romance, I almost exclusively only want them if, like, involved in the story is, like, the woman getting her own autonomy, because that's such a problem with that period. And so really seeing them push back against, like, certain societal barriers at that time is really appreciated. And I love when, like, feminism, intersectional feminism particularly, is so ingrained within the story, and I felt like that was really prevalent here. It kind of gives you like an interesting glimpse into Paris during this time. And another aspect that I absolutely love about these stories is the female friendship between like the 3 kind of main ladies is so heartwarming, and I love that they're like not sisters, but they might as well be, and so that's really just adds very strongly to the story for me. I am currently reading The Blighted Stars. Finally, I think this might be the year that I actually get into sci-fi a little bit more. I have been devouring this book, and I'm pretty sure it's well on the way to being 5 stars. I love that we open on a very intense action sequence where in space things are going disastrously wrong and we're going to crash land on a planet. Hello, you have my attention. There's also multi-POV, but like it's done in a way that doesn't overload you with too much. It's mostly 2 with an occasional 3rd, at least so far. And I really love both of the main characters. We have someone, so there's this magic where people get printed into bodies. Now it's supposed to be like their own bodies, and their neural map is what's saved. And as long as you have that neural map, you basically maintain your personality and memories and such, even though you're in a new body. However, one of our main characters, when she's printed, is printed into a body that is not her own, and she also doesn't feel like she's supposed to be here. But she's found herself in kind of an opportune situation, as the place that she's been printed into is of her greatest enemy. And she feels like being in this insider place without the knowledge of the people that she is who she is, she has the opportunity to take them down from the inside. And our other main point of view is the son of said company that the other main character absolutely hates. And the reason for that is that family is, in her eyes, responsible for the death of worlds. absolutely super intriguing. One of our main characters is a trans main character, and what I love about how the technology exists in this world is that they are very queer accepting, given the fact that the ability to print bodies allows for trans people to transition, and it's widely accepted that they do this in youth. Our main character transitioned very early on, being born in a body that didn't feel right to him, and his evil overlord dad is the one who facilitated that and is totally fine with it. So I love a story that is openly accepting of the queer people that exist in the world. And so I'm really loving this, and I can't wait to finish it. So on that note, I went to my local library and I already got books 2 and 3 so that I could finish it. I only have 2 weeks to finish half of book 1 and both of these, so we'll see how that works, but I'm really excited to finish this series. And last but certainly not least, I have my indie bookstore book haul. So first up here from the Novel Neighbor in St. Louis, I got Chang'an All-Stars and An Honored Vow. Chang'an All-Stars was my favorite read of last year. I'm so happy to finally have my own copy, and I really think that if I don't reread it this year, it will definitely be coming up soon because I loved this. And then An Honored Vow is the last book in the Halfling Saga. I've been waiting for this forever, and I'm super excited. So excited to get into this. There's not many like romantasy series that really like capture my attention like this one has, but I think this one dealt with a lot of much bigger issues than I'm used to seeing a romantasy series tackle, and I do think it balances that half romance, half fantasy really well. And then from my local used bookstore, Dunaway Books in St. Louis, we have Patrick Rothfuss, The Wise Man's Fear. I've avoided this like the plague because similar to Game of Thrones, this man hasn't finished this series for like a decade or two. And I know it's really good. Everyone says the first 2 books are absolutely incredible, but what if they are and then I can never know what happens? I'm so terrified. And so even though I have this in my possession now because I got it for really cheap, I don't know that I'll start it until there is more of a confirmed publishing date for book 3. Otherwise, I fear it might haunt me for the rest of my life. Let me know in the comments what your current reads are, some favorites from this month, or anything that you're really looking forward to getting to next month.